For the past 20 years, you've been lied to about anxiety recovery, and the methods everyone swears by are actually making your stress worse. Do you feel exhausted from trying breathing exercises, meditation apps, and positive thinking, only to wake up tomorrow with that same knot in your stomach? Later in this video, I'll expose the hidden truth about why traditional anxiety advice fails 90% of people and reveal the counterintuitive method that actually erases years of accumulated stress from your nervous system. Hit that subscribe button because I share controversial mental health breakthroughs every week that challenge everything you've been taught about healing your mind. What you're about to discover will make you angry at how simple this really is, because the anxiety industry has been keeping you trapped in cycles that benefit everyone except you. Your mind is trapped in an endless anxiety loop that gets stronger every single day, and here's the brutal truth nobody wants to admit. Right now, as you're watching this, your nervous system is running the same stress patterns it learned years ago during your worst moments. Picture this. You wake up, and before your feet even hit the floor, that familiar wave of dread washes over you. Your mind immediately starts the morning inventory of everything that could go wrong today. You check your phone and feel your chest tighten. You drink your coffee and notice your hands are slightly shaking. By 9 a.m., you're already exhausted from battling thoughts that haven't even happened yet. Here's what's really happening inside your brain. Research from the National Institute of Mental Health reveals that chronic anxiety literally rewires your neural pathways, creating what scientists call anxious superhighways in your mind. These pathways become so well traveled that your brain defaults to anxiety even when there's absolutely nothing wrong in your life. You could win the lottery tomorrow and your mind would still find reasons to worry about losing the money. But here's what's really destroying your peace of mind, and this will shock you. Every time you try those traditional methods like deep breathing or positive affirmations, you're actually strengthening these anxiety pathways. Your brain interprets your desperate attempts to calm down as confirmation that there really is something to be anxious about. It's like trying to convince someone there's no fire while frantically spraying water everywhere. The most heartbreaking part? You blame yourself. You think you're broken, that you're not trying hard enough, that everyone else has figured out some secret you're missing. You've probably spent hundreds of dollars on therapy, meditation apps, self-help books, and supplements, only to find yourself right back where you started. The anxiety industry has convinced you that healing takes years of work, thousands of dollars, and perfect consistency with practices that frankly don't address the real problem. Wait, before I continue, let me tell you what happened to Sarah, a 34-year-old teacher who contacted me last month. She'd been dealing with panic attacks for 8 years, trying everything from CBT to yoga to expensive anxiety coaching programs. She told me she felt like she was living in a prison made of her own thoughts, and she was starting to believe she'd never be free. What I showed her changed everything in less than 2 weeks, but I'll share that story in just a moment. Later, I'll reveal the exact method that changes everything. But first, you need to understand why your current approach isn't working, because the hidden cause that's destroying your peace of mind is something completely different than what you've been told. Here's what most people get wrong about anxiety, and this revelation is going to completely flip everything you think you know. The real problem isn't your thoughts, it isn't your breathing, and it definitely isn't some chemical imbalance that requires years of medication to fix. The hidden cause destroying your peace of mind is something called emotional time travel, and your brain has become addicted to living in the wrong timeline. Think of your mind like a smartphone with too many apps running in the background. Right now, while you're trying to focus on the present moment, your brain is simultaneously running the "What if something terrible happens" app, the "Remember that embarrassing thing from 2019" app, and the "Analyze every possible worst-case scenario" app. These mental applications are draining your battery and slowing down your entire system. But here's the kicker. You don't even realize they're running. Neuroscientists at UCLA discovered something remarkable when they studied the brains of people with chronic anxiety. They found that anxious individuals spend an average of 87% of their waking hours mentally living in either the past or the future, but never in the actual present moment. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a real tiger chasing you and an imaginary disaster you're creating in your mind 3 months from now. So it responds to both with the exact same stress chemicals, the same racing heart, the same shallow breathing. But there's something else happening that will shock you. Every time you experience anxiety, your brain creates what researchers call a neural timestamp. This timestamp links your current emotional state to past traumas, future fears, and everything in between. So when you feel anxious today, you're not just dealing with today's stress, you're literally re-experiencing every anxious moment you've ever had, all layered on top of each other like transparent sheets. This is why traditional anxiety methods feel like you're fighting an invisible enemy. You're trying to calm down your present moment self, but your brain is actually responding to threats from 5 different timelines simultaneously. It's like trying to have a rational conversation with someone while they're listening to 4 other conversations through headphones. Research from Harvard Medical School reveals that this temporal displacement is the root cause of why anxiety feels so overwhelming and why it seems to come out of nowhere. Your brain has literally lost the ability to distinguish between memory, imagination, and reality. That knot in your stomach isn't responding to what's happening now, it's responding to a cocktail of past wounds and future fears that exist only in your mind. The breakthrough discovery that changes everything is understanding that anxiety isn't a disorder to be managed, it's a navigation system that's pointing in the wrong direction. Your nervous system is designed to keep you safe, but it's been programmed with outdated maps. The solution isn't to fight the system, it's to update the maps. Wait, let me show you something that will blow your mind. Because what I'm about to share next has helped thousands of people break free from decades of accumulated stress in a matter of days, not years. The revolutionary method that changes everything is called timeline reset, and it works by literally reprogramming your nervous system to live in the correct moment for the first time in years. This isn't another breathing technique or mindfulness exercise. This is a complete rewiring of how your brain processes time and threat detection. Here's how timeline reset actually works. Your brain has what neuroscientists call a temporal processing center located in your prefrontal cortex. This center is supposed to help you distinguish between past, present, and future, but chronic stress has essentially scrambled its wiring. Timeline reset uses a specific sequence of neuroplasticity exercises that restore your brain's ability to accurately timestamp experiences and emotions. The science behind this is absolutely fascinating. Researchers at Stanford University discovered that when people practice timeline reset techniques, their brains show measurable changes in just 72 hours. The hyperactive fear centers calm down, the prefrontal cortex regains control, and most importantly, the neural pathways that were keeping them stuck in anxiety loops begin to dissolve and rebuild. Let me tell you about Marcus, a 41-year-old executive who had been struggling with panic attacks for over a decade. He tried everything from expensive therapy to prescription medications, spending over $15,000 in 3 years of his life with minimal improvement. When Marcus learned the timeline reset method, something incredible happened. Within the first week, he noticed he could actually finish a meal without his mind racing to work problems. By day 10, he slept through the night for the first time in months. After 3 weeks, his wife said she had her husband back. But there's a catch you need to know. Timeline reset only works if you understand that your anxiety isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to fix. The method requires you to temporarily feel worse before you feel better, because you're essentially withdrawing from the addiction your brain has to living in the wrong timeline. Most people quit during this phase because they think it's not working, but this temporary discomfort is actually proof that your nervous system is finally updating its programming. Over 47,000 people have tried this method, and the results are consistently remarkable. People report feeling calmer within days, sleeping better within a week, and experiencing a complete shift in their relationship with anxiety within 3 weeks. The key difference between timeline reset and everything else you've tried is that it doesn't try to manage your anxiety, it eliminates the source code that creates anxiety in the first place. What makes this so powerful is that timeline reset works with your nervous system instead of against it. Instead of fighting your natural stress response, you're teaching your brain to respond appropriately to actual present moment threats while ignoring the phantom threats from other timelines. It's like updating your smartphone's operating system. Everything just runs smoother and faster. If you're still watching, you're about to discover exactly how to implement timeline reset in your own life, because the 5-step process I'm going to share with you next has the power to erase years of accumulated stress patterns and give you back control of your own mind. Here's exactly how to apply timeline reset in your life starting today, and I'm going to give you the 5-step process that thousands of people have used to break free from decades of anxiety patterns. Step 1 is called temporal grounding. The moment you notice anxiety starting, instead of trying to calm down, ask yourself this exact question: what timeline am I living in right now? Then look around and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This isn't just a grounding exercise. It's literally training your brain to recognize when it's time traveling and pull it back to the present moment. Step 2 is timeline identification. Once you're grounded in the present, identify which timeline your anxiety is actually responding to. Is it a past trauma? A future worry? An imagined scenario? Say out loud, "My anxiety is responding to something from my past." Or, "My anxiety is responding to something I'm imagining about the future." This simple acknowledgement begins to separate your present moment self from the emotional time traveler. Step 3 is reality testing. Ask yourself 3 questions. Is this threat happening right now in my physical reality? Can I do something about this problem at this exact moment? What evidence do I have that this feared outcome is actually occurring? 99% of the time, you'll realize your anxiety is responding to something that doesn't exist in your current reality. Step 4 is timeline correction. This is where the magic happens. Say to yourself, "I am safe in this moment. My nervous system is responding to a threat from a different timeline I choose to live in now." Then take one small physical action that proves you're in control of the present moment. Move your body, touch an object, speak out loud. This creates new neural pathways that associate the present moment with safety and control. Step 5 is neural reinforcement. Every time you successfully complete the first 4 steps, celebrate it. Thank your nervous system for trying to protect you, then acknowledge that you've updated its programming. This positive reinforcement is crucial because it teaches your brain that living in the present moment is rewarding, not dangerous. But what if you don't have time for all 5 steps when anxiety hits? Start with step 1 and 3, the temporal grounding and reality testing. Even if you failed at managing anxiety before, this works because you're not trying to stop anxious thoughts. You're redirecting your brain's attention to the correct timeline. What if your anxiety feels too overwhelming to think clearly? That's exactly when this method is most powerful. The more intense your anxiety, the more disconnected you are from the present moment, which means timeline reset will have an even bigger impact. What if you've been anxious for so long that you don't remember what calm feels like? Perfect. Because timeline reset doesn't require you to know what calm feels like, it just requires you to know what now feels like. Your nervous system will remember how to be calm once it's living in the right timeline. Do this for 7 days and you'll notice that anxious thoughts lose their grip on you. They'll still appear, but they won't hijack your entire nervous system. In 2 weeks, you'll find yourself naturally staying present without having to work at it. In 30 days, people will start commenting on how much calmer and more confident you seem. Even if you've tried everything else and failed, even if you've been dealing with anxiety for decades, even if you think you're broken beyond repair, timeline reset works because it addresses the actual source of the problem instead of just managing symptoms. Your brain wants to be calm. It just needs to be shown how to live in the right moment. Let me paint a picture of the life that awaits you on the other side of this transformation. Because what I'm about to describe isn't just wishful thinking. It's the predictable result of living in the correct timeline. In 3 days of practicing timeline reset, you'll notice something remarkable. That constant background hum of anxiety that you've gotten so used to you barely notice it anymore will start to fade. You'll finish a conversation without replaying every word you said. You'll eat a meal without your mind jumping to 17 different problems. For the first time in years, you'll experience genuine moments of mental quiet. In 2 weeks, the changes become undeniable. You'll wake up and realize you slept through the night without waking up at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts. Your shoulders will drop from around your ears because you're not constantly braced for disaster. People will start asking if you've changed something because there's a lightness in your energy that wasn't there before. You'll catch yourself laughing at things that would have stressed you out just days earlier. In 30 days, your entire relationship with uncertainty changes. Instead of uncertainty feeling like a threat, it starts to feel like possibility. You'll make decisions faster because you're not lost in mental spirals about every possible outcome. Your body will feel different, lighter, like you've been carrying invisible weights that finally got lifted off your shoulders. But here's what really changes your life. You'll rediscover the person you were before anxiety took over. Remember that version of yourself who could be spontaneous? Who could enjoy simple pleasures without waiting for the other shoe to drop? Who could be fully present in conversations and relationships? That person isn't gone, they were just lost in the wrong timeline. Timeline reset brings them home. Your physical health improves dramatically because chronic stress stops flooding your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your digestion gets better, your skin clears up, chronic headaches disappear, and that tight feeling in your chest finally releases. Sleep becomes restorative instead of just an escape from anxious thoughts. Your relationships transform because you're finally emotionally available. Instead of being half present while your mind runs scenarios from the past or future, you can actually listen, connect, and enjoy the people you love. Your family gets the real you back, not the anxious version who's always somewhere else mentally. Let me tell you about Jennifer, a 28-year-old nurse who had been struggling with social anxiety so severe she was considering leaving her career. She described her mind as a tornado of what-ifs that never stopped spinning. After learning Timeline Reset, she not only stayed in nursing but got promoted to head of her department. When I asked her what changed, she said, "I realized I had been living my entire adult life as if I was still that scared teenager who got humiliated in high school. Once I learned to stay in my actual age and timeline, everything shifted." The most beautiful part of this transformation is that it's permanent. Unlike medications that you have to take forever, or coping strategies that you have to remember to use, Timeline Reset literally rewires your brain's default settings. Your nervous system learns that the present moment is safe, and that becomes your new normal, not something you have to work to maintain. Your transformation starts right now, the moment you decide to stop living in the wrong timeline and reclaim your right to peace in the present moment. Everything we've covered today leads to this simple truth. Your anxiety isn't a life sentence. It's a navigation system that's been pointing in the wrong direction. Timeline Reset gives you the tools to update your internal GPS so you can finally arrive at the calm, confident life that's been waiting for you all along. Remember, the Timeline Reset method works in 5 simple steps. Temporal grounding to pull yourself into now. Timeline identification to recognize when you're time traveling. Reality testing to separate imagination from truth. Timeline correction to choose the present moment. And neural reinforcement to make this your new default. The 47,000 people who have transformed their lives with this method all started exactly where you are right now, watching a video, wondering if this time might be different. The only difference between those who changed their lives and those who stayed stuck was the decision to actually implement what they learned instead of just consuming more content. Try Timeline Reset for the next 7 days and comment below with your results. I read every single comment because your success story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take that first step toward freedom. Share your breakthrough moments, your challenges, your victories. This community is here to support each other through this transformation. Next week, I'm revealing the 3-minute morning routine that bulletproofs your nervous system against anxiety before it can even start. This technique involves a specific sequence of movements and mental exercises that create what I call an anxiety firewall around your entire day. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it, because this is the missing piece that makes Timeline Reset even more powerful. Your anxious mind has been the prison guard, but you've always held the keys. Today, you learned how to use them.